Good afternoon. Welcome to another day of Bible prophecy. My name is Prophet C. Brazil. Uh, Bible prophecy 2010, part 21, 1-1. Well, what I want to try to complete my discussion about today's events and where we are today in Bible prophecy and the word that Jesus spoke to us in today's time, in these later times. During the calling of myself and during the prophesizing of these things to come, there was prophesied and formatted in early days when technology of men hadn't grew into the technology that we experience today. But as of now, we have arrived at that point in time where Jesus spoke to us concerning this matter. God spoke through Jesus Christ, and He's referring to us at this point in time. And that's the reason some things alluded to minds of men, because they saw these things, but they didn't understand what they were seeing. They heard them, but they never perceived what they was hearing because man had not grown into technology. So therefore, by the knowledge of God being far extended, far beyond the knowledge of men, He is speaking in a formatted episode, telling the man what would become of him in these later days, even though he didn't understand what God was talking about. So God had to create signs and symbols to the beasts of the earth and the fowls of the air and the fish of the water to tell him about what will become of him in these later days if he didn't change his ways and pursue not, and if he continued to pursue the way of knowledge. God placed man upon this earth in the foundation, in the beginning of time, to be upkeepers of the earth. You know, to be upkeepers of the earth means as simple as this. If you had someone working for you in your garden or in your on your lawn around your house, you would tell him that I want you to be upkeepers of this lawn and keep it mowed, cut, and keep all the hedges trimmed. But, and while you're gone, and if you leave this man in charge, a butler, we call him butlers, but he's a servant. But when we take him and go and come back, and we come back and find the work not done, then you don't want to pay the man for what he did. You want to pay him according to his work. But if you come back and you find everything in place just like you expected, and he have created and did what he is, and then your lawn and everything is trimmed and everything and looking good and everything around your house, then you're going to pay him, you're going to owe him a just wage. Well, this is the same way it is by God. God, when He created this earth, it was without form and without void. But He created it for His own pleasure, to look upon it and see the beauty of this earth which He had created with His own hand. But there was no one to keep this earth in the earth at the format and when He created and manufactured all things. So He created this man in His own image and in His own likeness and made him a special creature upon this earth, that he may be the keeper of this earth. He made him in His own image with the same desire that God Himself had. But he was created and made a servant up on this earth to be keepers of this earth, to trim the earth, to not cast paper and trash all over the earth, but to keep this earth the beauty that God saw in this earth, the same came in the eyesight of that man that he created. In other words, he created that man his own image and his own likeness to desire the same thing that he desired, that he may take upon himself and keep this earth. And while he's serving himself upon this earth, he would be serving God on the behalf of God. Well, men that God placed upon this earth desires came with a price. They began to reverence the earth that God created for his own pleasure and began to turn it into a paradise for the man himself. And the servant that God placed upon this earth to serve him and to be upkeepers of this earth, this certain man began to put these people under the umbrella of his authority, demanding and commanding the same way God would do, causing the people to serve his hand and not the hand of the living God who created him. This is where we are today. And this is what have angered God and may disturb God, because men go in a way and say, well, he don't see us. He has gone and forsaken this earth, and they do according to their will and not the will of the living God. This is what have gotten us in trouble today. And as there was circumstance arrived in the earth that I have spoken of in so many my teaching and my speaking, they came in and defiled this earth even more. And through the due process of time, when God had to redeem this earth through the blood of his son Jesus, and he did, in doing so, Jesus had to go back to the Father in heaven. And when he went back to the Father in heaven, the transgressor began to transgress the law of Moses and change and democratize the system, turning the world into a habitat of himself to make men serve him as if he was a God. And as of now, God is moving upon the earth to bring judgment upon the earth, to take and change that back. So that's the reason God sent me here as a prophet among the nations, placed me over the nations, telling the nation that the presence of God is near, and he is coming to judge and to take back that which the rich nations have taken. You know, I'm trying to see how much time. Yeah. Now, I got the charts behind me, and I want to go over them because during these charts, if you look and understand these charts, you can see how God speaks to us. And you can take these charts, and you can take and create a situation where you could understand the Bible even further. And you could take and see these things, and you could go through parts of the Bible. See, when God gave these signs and symbols, he spoke to us and so somewhat, but he takes and uses them from one paragraph to another paragraph, one chapter to another one, and one prophet to another one. But it doesn't take away the quality of the parable, and it doesn't change the mindset of the prophecy. It doesn't change the contents of the prophecy. It speaks with a clear tongue, but it tells you in the same fashion, but it takes and tells one prophet this and one prophet that. In other words, God created these in some way that you won't be beholden to words of delusion, that you would know by the formatting and him speaking to different prophets with the same tongue and the same value, that this was a God speaking to them peoples, and not a delusion. So that's when man tell you something about God sent him, you need to ask him on what